This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our Supreme and Master Speakers, Circuit Barrakiel, Remy Asalia, Amiji Cat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Arcadia Lunashine, Dramavian, Nina Grimsdaughter, Casey Schaefer, Dimos, Lily Black, Hans Grenade, Sapa Chakwatol, Faris Jantoru, Cletus Oreo, Quick Levin, Luke Leonatrell, Ceres, Icy Lee, Lyria Rain, Pamela Isley, Umbral Wind, Naive Arino, Celeste Raskris, Elenriel Maximus, Edwin, Bob Cece, Fabson Voidworm, Remy Maverick, Code Red No, Mira Miri, Winebow Brood, Babe Arbalade, Kaisa Regina, Uzora Akari, AJ Brainswordson, Suno Shikano, Shesha Saltiri, Gideon Ura, Buster Gearhold, Azuta Starbreeze, and Camille Grino. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/speakersxiv. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Aorcians. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 225. I'm Lakil Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Rollo Des and Georgi Wiston. That's not the usual order I do that in, but whatever. It's been a wonderful week. We've had a patch. We've received content of our Lord Noyoki of the. I don't know how many people celebrate on the 24th. For those that celebrate on the 24th, we're halfway there. For the other part, 13 more days.
I don't know about you. I'm waiting.
What?
Australians are halfway there as well. It's the 13th already.
True. All right. Also, the Queen of England, she celebrates Christmas on the 24th. So halfway there, Your Majesty.
Why?
Because their family's German. Fun fact. Anyways, welcome to episode 225. Today is a spoiler cast episode, so make sure you have done the story stuff or don't mind getting spoiled when watching this episode. We'll also talk about Starlight 2020 before we get into the spoilers, so if you don't want to get spoiled but still want to hear our thoughts on Starlight, stay tuned a little longer. We will make it very clear when we talk about spoilers. Send us Mogmail, speakersxiv.com/Mogmail. We're not reading it today, obviously, because today's going to be a long one. But we'll read them next week when we do our end of the year Mogmail special. So, because I'm suspecting this to be an XL episode, questions from the Syndicate might just be baked awkwardly in at the end. We'll see how we deal with that. It depends on how much time we have left at the end of the episode. But we will read questions from the Syndicate this week as well. So, in channel updates, Ceruleum Reactor is now out for patrons. We've sort of made the decision to keep the pilot episode Patreon exclusive for now. We will use that as sort of our feedback. We will use that to perfect or prepare the first episode that will go live, public. Sorry. So please provide feedback if you're a patron. You can just mention it in the Patreon chat. We'll pick it up. We've already sort of received a question already or feedback already. I think the question was what the show is supposed to be about. Like it's supposed to be just laid back, more just us talking about what we want to talk about. I understand that maybe it was we're working with Speakers of Eidolon as our guide, so it's gonna have a lot of Speakers of Eidolon in its DNA initially. So it'll change as we get along, as we go on. We want, more chill instead of a news show. Like Speakers of Heidelin, we have to do certain things. There are certain things we need to cover. And we can't talk about whatever we want here. We can technically on the post show, but it's mostly questions from the Syndicate, and maybe if there's a premiere of a video, that's the topic for that show. In Cerulean Reactor, we're free to do more of whatever we want. So that's kind of what that is. 4. So just if you are a Master Supreme, it's on the Discord. You have to check it's not going to be posted to Patreon proper. It's on Discord, in the early access tab on Discord for Master and Supreme. All right. Next 12-hour stream is on Friday the 18th at 2 p.m. BST. That's 2 p.m. GMT, which let's see what that is. What was that again from Eastern? Let's see. GMT. Prepared. 9. That's 9 a.m. Eastern. So you'll be able to watch us from 9 to 9. It's pretty good for North America. Pretty good for Europe as well. So it's good for most of our demographic. Yeah, so there you go. We'll be doing the Lala Run. We'll be playing Super Mario Bros. Mario Party. Return to Soar. And Palace of the Dead.
Yes.
Maybe this one will make it to floor 100. Did you know? Fun fact: the very first 12-hour stream was exactly that. Trying to get to floor 100 with Orange Caramel.
200.
Was it 200? 200 was what it was. Yes. Spoilers. It didn't work out that way. That was the podcast where stream where Orange got ill.
We was playing Resident Evil, right? He almost died.
No, not Resident. He was. We were doing Palace of the Dead, and he had like a coughing fit, and then he just texted. He's just not texted, but he just sent me a message like, "I can't breathe," and I'm like, "Huh? Should we cut the stream?" And he's like, "No, I'm good." So yeah, that's that. So we're sort of going back to the roots again with the 12-hour stream in that sense. So make sure you catch that. That is on the 18th. On Friday, 2 p.m. GMT, 9 a.m. Eastern. All right, we'll see you there. Whew. All right, that's that. This week in 14 is more or less a pointless part of the show right now to discuss. Yes, it's here again. Starlight Celebration 2020. Smiles forestalled? A starlight setback. Ooh, what could that mean? 'Tis that season of the year again, and am Garangi is, or as Merlwib would say, Garani is making plans for an extra special starlight. That's all we have. That's all we have.
That's all you get.
That's all you need to know before this year's Starlight, everyone. It's going to be taking place in Old Gridania. Is that the usual starting point for Starlight? I think so, actually. Yeah. Because we did the choir things. Well, didn't we do the orphanage last year? But I think it still started in Gridania.
Last year was in Gridania.
Yeah.
And they had No, there wasn't orphans. It was just the little... kids.
It was the hospital thing. Wasn't that what was that? What's that thing in Ul'dah with the children? Wasn't that last year?
I feel like that was many years ago at this point, actually.
Oh, really?
That's like 3. Yeah, last year was with the one with the Lancer dad.
Yeah, we've had 2 choirs in a row.
Little Ladies. So I'm mixing. I can't believe I'm mixing Little Ladies Day and and Starlight. Okay. Yeah. The last time we were at the orphanage was in Heavensward for Starlight. All right, I see. Yeah. The Lancer Dad? Oh,
Yeah, where like the kid's dad was in the choir. He's like, but Dad's never there for
Right,
Starlight.
we've had the choir minigame, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Possible that we're doing it again this year? Do you think they
Maybe.
will not reuse that minigame? Like, they've only
Yeah.
used it, like, twice now?
Yeah,
Third time's the charm. This is when they've perfected the system. They've added... It'll be so difficult. It'll be like Melody of Memories. Not much to, like, discuss, because there's literally no lore in here. But the rewards this year are seemingly very good. We're getting a mount, a snowman mount, which I showed off at the live letter, the previous live letter.
Very cute.
Yeah. And you get both indoor and outdoor furnishings. For outdoors, you get snow-covered pine trees.
What does the game call them? They call them snow-dusted trees.
Snow-dusted trees. And for the inside, you get like a and it looks like it kind of looks like just a Super Mario stage.
It does. I was thinking that too.
It's like a, what do they call that? Like a, what do they call it?
Platform.
Yeah, but what is that? What it's
Oh,
called?
in our game,
Yeah,
a loft.
a loft. So you can make an icy loft in your house. So Starlight starts this. Is it this Tuesday or next Tuesday? Let me double check real
The
quick.
14th, I think, is it? So it's tomorrow for me. 2 days for you guys.
Yeah, so it's... Oh, it's on Monday. Interesting.
It is on Monday.
Huh. All right.
Monday through to the end of the year.
All right. Cool. Right.
It's a good one to kill.
What?
Never mind.
Wait, did I make a joke and I didn't know? I didn't realize?
Yes.
Oh.
You're so clever. You just don't even know it.
Oh God, I'm gonna realize that, like, when I'm asleep, like going to bed. I'm like, all right. All right. Moving on to sad news. The original author of Dad of Light has passed away. Mighty.
I think it would be pronounced Mady, but I'm not 100% sure.
There's a post by OCP on the dev blog, if you want to read that. Very sad. Second Final Fantasy 14 death this year. So 2020 is a good year for bad things.
We really should get around to watching Dad of Light sometime.
Yeah, we keep talking about it. It was actually Dad of Light that Dad of Light was the reason we invented movie night for Patreon, but we never did it. So maybe one day we can watch that. Right. So that's it for recent events, which means, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go into spoilers. This is the beginning of the spoiler cast, so...
Ah.
The spoiler bonk. Right. 5.4 came with a lot of stuff, a lot of story stuff, a lot of lore. We'll go through the MSQ first. It was good. I like that we have a Eorzea-centric expansion. No, not expansion, patch. But did it resolve? Like, did things go too quickly? Well, let's... we'll discuss that at the end. It's too early to discuss now.
Yeah.
All right. We start off with Kryle and Tataru in the Rising Stones. They mentioned like that they've redecorated like that new area in like the new room.
Dawn's Respite.
Yeah, Dawn's Respite. But it looks identical to what it looked like when we were there last time. So I don't know what that was all about. So we have a little meeting. What is the meeting about? Does anyone remember what that is about? Like the initial meeting?
That's when they start discussing that Garlemald's in civil war, but we don't have like the full information at this
Right.
point.
Okay. Yes. And
then they discuss how that's when Urianger and Thancred are like, yeah, we'll go infiltrate Galamald and figure out what's happening.
We got to leave the story. We'll be back.
Right.
Maybe.
Yes. And that's when everyone's like favorite character walks in, Lise Hext.
So mean to Lise.
She's like, oh wow, I heard about what you've been up to. I'm so glad I got you back. I'm so glad I got every one of you back from the first, she says. And then she's like, oh, by the way, the civil war is worsening. She says that the imperial capital is like in ruins. Not a good sign if you wanted Garlemald in the expansion.
It'll be a dungeon. Don't worry about it. Come on.
I hate that. It's so true.
If you're
No.
What?
It'll be a trial.
Really?
Yeah, in the ruins of Garlemald, it'll be a trial.
It'll be a little circular arena.
If you're lucky, it'll be a raid series.
Ooh, yes. Oh, it's so sad. It's clear. It becomes more and more clear that we're probably never really going to get to like at least the imperial capital, because they're spending a lot of like time and energy on like showing us the provinces of Garlemald, so they can sell us that as Garlemald.
To be fair, you got to be honest. That's hard to justify to be able to just walk in there as an open zone, and that's a really hard sell.
I know, it is true. Yeah, that has always been. I mean, yeah.
Remember when we were in the palace with Estinian and Gaius? It's as good as it's gonna get, maybe.
So sad. Yes, Nerva of the 3rd Legion. That is. Do we know his full name?
I'm sure we do.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't remember it.
No. Of the 3rd Legion is getting financial backing from the Brutus family. And the Brutus family is... isn't that the family tied to... I feel like Brutus is mentioned by...
Don't do
that. It's the family that adopted Asahi.
Asahi. Yes. Right.
That makes sense.
Yes. Right. Alisaie wants to find a cure for tempering now.
Well, before she talks about that, she's like, Lisa's like, yeah, the Alliance is having a meeting, and then Alisaie's like, but I have something else to do.
Oh yeah, that's what she's. Yeah, that's how she.
You guys don't want to do something boring.
Yeah, that's boring.
I said I wanted to go to the meeting.
So we everyone except for G'raha, Alisaie, and us, the Warrior of Light, heads to Ala Mhigo for the Alliance meeting. We, with like Alisaie and G'raha, go to Asis La because G'raha believes that the Allagans might know more about how to reverse tempering. So they search. They wanna find out what they knew. And to get there, obviously, even though we can just teleport, we definitely need an airship. So we head down to Silvertear Lake, and Tataru has... I don't know if it's implied that she's built it or bought it, but...
I think she bought it. I mean, no, sorry. No, I think she built it.
Yeah.
I think she built it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bonanza.
That's a good... very talented lady that...
Yeah. It's very... Yeah, she can just get everything we need. So that's good. It's good to have one of those characters.
She's not a great gatherer, but at least she's a good crafter.
Yes. Yes. So she can't fly it though. Yeah. So we have this random NPC to fly it for us.
I don't know why they highlighted the NPC
Same.
so much,
I thought
considering
that
he
was
has no
odd.
lines and no name.
Yeah.
I thought, doesn't he just like look at you and then look forward like one time or something?
Yeah. And that's all we see of that person. So we go and search for data on this. It's just Owen. The great Garlean name, Owen.
Garlean.
Sorry, Allegan. They're essentially the same. Different time zones. Time zones.
Are you okay?
Oh.
I'm not okay. We go to Habisphere Control. Why do we do that again?
Well, we go to Habisphere Control because Graha suspects that since the data was expunged from the official records, potentially there is a private record that still has a copy of the thesis on, I believe the Allegans called it corruption?
Yes.
Primal,
No, iconic
corruption?
Yeah, iconic corruption, yeah. Yep. So we have to go there. We can't get inside. So we need to overload the door.
Yeah, we can't get inside because it still thinks that we're in danger of the fourth umbral calamity.
It is still under lockdown. So we need to break in. We have to overload it by collecting lightning crystals, which Alice, of course, immediately turns into a competition. Or a contest.
Doesn't even stand a chance this time. She just loses automatically.
Yes, she does. We were the only ones.
Graha's happy to come third.
Yes, of course. So we get it. He wants to go in alone because of his royal blood.
Graha has that fun little moment where he tries to replicate when we first met him.
There was that too. That is such a long...
Did you not realize it was him?
I realized it after he had done it. That's when it clicked into place, because it's been like 5 or 6 years since that cutscene happened. So there's no way I'd remember that thing. But yeah.
Yeah. Chet brings up a good point. He's remembering something from over 100 years ago.
Yeah. But he is also our biggest simp. So he would remember.
Okay.
He is. Don't deny it. In that whole quest, yes. Right. He has royal blood, so he wants to go into Habisphere Control, because he. Yeah, go on.
The security systems won't hurt him.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Oh shit. Sorry, I made that more dramatic than it was. I accidentally pressed enter and I lost. I just skipped ahead in the show notes. Sorry. Right. So while he's away, we get to sit down with Alice. We get some Charlayan lore about. Oh yeah, they talk about their time at the Studium. About their Alice's thesis. They talk about all of their theses.
Thesi?
Thesi?
Theses?
Theses. Reese's theses.
Yeah.
Alice's thesis was on combat applications of ether.
Yes.
Wow, interesting. Alphanos.
Bury her.
Yes. Alphanos' thesis was on Charlayan's duty to the world, which wasn't very popular in Charlayan because they are insular. They don't like to deal with the world.
And their father in particular was not very happy with it, considering he's a high-ranking member of the Forum and thus not be seen to be attached to, I guess, rebellious factions within the nation, even if it is his son.
Yeah. It's interesting that this happens because we have talked about the possibility of, now that I'm sort of giving up all hope on Garlemald and that we're only going to like provinces instead, I have a feeling Charlayan is more likely to happen, and especially since we're now getting lore dumps for Charlayan. feel like they might be setting the stage for some more Sharlayan in the future.
I really want to go to Sharlayan. I want to go
Same.
there more than Garlemald. I think it will be more visually interesting.
Yeah, here.
It's gonna be the Tome City.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad.
About Garlemald, I'm over it.
Already.
I'm over
I'm
it.
kind of over. I'm kind of over it as well as like a place to visit at least.
Yeah, especially since Lise has essentially said that it's like in ruins. That what is there to look at in Garlemald now? And also, we have seen a lot of Garlean-looking shit, anyways, and it's not that good looking. It's just
They'll build it again very quickly, make it look nice. Though.
yeah. I don't. I'm more interested in Sharlayan and in like Radzat Han. I want to go to those places.
And the
I still want to
provinces are
check
more
the provinces.
visually interesting.
Yes. Right. Graha's thesis was, of course, the Allagan Empire in folklore. He didn't go to the studium. That was his Archon thesis.
And then Alizé's like, ugh,
Yeah.
sounds horrible.
Yeah. Okay, and then he comes back. That's actually he's come back, and then he tells us about his thesis, right? I think that's how it went. He's found a node that he thinks contains the stuff they need. However, it requires a password. It identifies him as royal. It does a scan, but it requires a password, and everything he tries is wrong. Like he goes for like Allagan stuff, like glory to Allag or whatever, and stuff like that. None of it's correct. And then Alizé, Alizé, I call this a sketch because it is, because she just like, we need a password must be simple and one word, and she does this whole spiel, and then she's like, password, and the note is like, how dare you? This is the stupidest password you could have ever picked, and in the presence of His Majesty. It was very funny.
She is a handmaiden.
Yes, he
How
called her
dare
a
she.
handmaiden. That was funny. Okay. Right.
And then we try, not any more successfully than the others.
No. So we need to bring it. What do? We bring it to Sid.
Yes,
Right.
Graha has the idea that Sid knows how to crack into a node.
We get to hear a nice old Sid's voice too.
Not yet,
Not yet.
but soon.
Oh,
Yes,
okay, sorry.
Yes, yeah. We return to the Rising Stones, and Kryle gives us a quick brief on what happened at the Alliance Council. She tells us that the focus has been shifted to dealing with the primal problem again.
The Alliance was like, yeah, okay, Garlemald's not currently a threat, so now's the time to deal with our personal issues, or like our national issues.
Yeah. So, all right, we say to see him. Mela wanted us to say that he got an erection.
Okay.
What?
well,
So I'm set. That's my duty to Mela to just say that. Like, Gra gets an erection when he meets Sid. Sid plops down a terminal. The ones that we've seen before used with in the Omega series, I think. Well, I think he used them. I think that's the last time we've seen them used.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Graha shoves a dictionary tombstone into it.
Yes. And the terminal is able to guess the password, which was freedom. This triggers a hologram of Owen, who explains how iconic corruption works. Did you check when you saw him? Does he not have a unique face?
It didn't seem unique to me, but I just don't think I have a great enough familiarity with Huron faceplates.
It's just like it's something is maybe it is just the hologram effect that's doing it. But it looked like maybe he had something different in his face. But right, he if it is unique, that means we'll probably see Owen again. That's why I'm pointing that out. But he does anyone want to explain how iconic corruption was presented? Because
he just used like some, I guess, virtual subjects or whatever, and kind of showed that they cause like an etherical imbalance. Basically, it tilts it more towards whatever element the icon is. So, like for Sephiroth, it's more towards Earth, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
And so, you know, he just says that. He says, like, the longer you get the exposure to it, the more that you're transformed, basically.
Yeah.
Into, and there's just like a certain point of no return too, where like no amount of any kind of, I guess, help could ever turn you back.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he talks about how he wanted to create a cure, but Amon was like, "No, we don't need that."
Right. Yes. So Graha, is it Graha that theorizes that they could use an adapted version of the memory transference that used on the first?
I believe so.
To convert, to reverse the process. So they then ask themselves the question: why would they lock it with such an easy password that would be so easily guessed? And with the theme of the password, they're sort of implying that there could have been some sort of resistance faction within the Allagan Empire that wanted this to be found.
Oh my God, Descent.
We haven't really heard of that too much. Well, actually, we have, because we know that everyone in the Labyrinth of the Ancients were Resistance members.
Not everyone. Only
the bosses.
Only Phlegathon.
Really? Is it just Phlegaton? I thought.
Yeah, Glacia.
Oh yeah, Glacia.
Everyone in the Circus
Scylla?
Tower was. Scylla wasn't a member of the Resistance, but she was against Amon, and Amon was like,
"Yeah,
I'll turn you into something."
Yeah, she was against Amon, so I'm assuming that he would view that as.
But I don't think she was against like the Alec rule. I think she was just against like Amon gaining power within.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But we know that there was a resistance in Allag, even though we haven't learned much about them. All right. So for us to actually extract this information that is on the terminal, we need more power, to get more power, we need more ceruleum for the terminals, and we also need ice crystals to cool them. So we are tasked with getting ceruleum, and Tataru is
Kryl.
Oh, sorry, Kryl.
Kryl gathers like Hoary Boulder and friends to go get, just beat up ice sprites.
Yeah. So we travel to Ishgard, and we meet a coked up Emmerich, because he is. Wow, is he happy to see us? He is. Wow. He's there with a Vanu that never speaks.
Nope, of course not.
And what's her name? I didn't put her name in. Her name is
something with an A? No.
Lucia.
Okay.
Thank you, chat.
She also does not speak. It is just Emmerich speaking in this cutscene.
Yes, it is only Emmerich. When I rewatched this, I was like, oh, absolutely no one else speaks in this cutscene.
No. And he's like, wow, I can't believe you're doing that. I can't believe you're trying to reverse tempering, dude.
That's so epic.
That's so fucking epic, dude. You can get all the ceruleum. And he gives us all the ceruleum and an airship to boot. It's amazing. And that's that. There's also this odd moment where the Vanu is awkwardly in the background. Well, also the reason for the Vanu, I should probably mention, is they have decided because of the focus on fixing the primal problem, they are talking to the beast tribes, and this is when Emmerich. No, this is not.
This
No.
is not actually when we thought it
thought
was,
that.
but no, that's not
Okay.
that's not actually revealed until later.
No, okay. So he's talking to the leader of the Vanu tribe, and he's trying to figure things out with him. When we have loaded the ceruleum on the ship and we fly away, the Vanu mysteriously gone.
Oh,
It's just not there. Yeah, go on.
voice acting and the voice acting of other people in this patch. The suspected reason why some of the voice direction feels off in this particular patch is that all of the voice actors, for the most part, as far as we're aware, were working from home, and so therefore didn't have the in-person direction
Right.
that they would normally had to keep them on. Oh, goodness me. To keep... Thank goodness you cut that off.
Yeah.
So they didn't have the normal direction they would normally have, and they probably also had less takes to work with.
Yes. So we fly back to Revenant's Toll, where Sid has set up this massive computer terminal with all the glowy Magitech looking things. And who steps
The
out of the
kettle's
ship?
there.
What? The what?
The kettle's there too.
The kettle is there? I didn't notice that.
Is it? Oh,
that's like
cool.
that's probably like the first clue that Nero's there. Then I guess if you see that before Nero, because Nero enters the scene. Epic bants ensues between Nero and Sid. It's nice to hear. Now we hear Sid talk. Very odd. It's like his voice actor kind of forgot how to do Sid a little. It's still Sid from
It's been a
Heavensward.
while.
Yeah, it has been. It's been a hot minute since he.
No one was there to remind him.
Right.
Almost half a decade.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. So it was nice to hear him talk and hear Nero again.
Well, I believe this is the first time we've heard Nero's new
Since a-
voice actor since.
Because
Since-
he hasn't spoken since A Realm Reborn? Question mark.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sid speaks in Heavensward, so
Yes.
we have heard Sid's new voice actor, but this is the first appearance of Nero's speaking voice.
Yeah. Yeah. Go on. No. Okay.
Oh, it
no,
isn't.
it's
Oh,
just
Nero
random.
appeared in. Chad is correcting me. Nero does appear in 3.5. I genuinely forgot about it.
yeah.
I could not recall that at all.
Right. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, when he builds us that fun robot, and we get that big creepy smile.
Yes. Yes. Okay. We have the supercomputer, and Sid and Nero get to work. Also, Nero is like there because he heard that in some alternate timeline they learned how to travel in time, and so therefore this is the first step on that journey. So he had to be there. So they're now working on this thing. We sit on this. I don't know what that's called. Like, let's just call it a bench, but it's oddly like the proportions were a little off. Was it overly massive for anyone?
Well, everyone has to fit on the bench, is the thing.
Yeah, it was.
Every-
It's just so weird seeing the overhead shot, and we just looked so tiny on this giant ass bench.
Are you remembering this is one long bench because it's two benches?
No, it's two benches, but they're big.
okay.
They're big
yeah,
benches.
okay.
Okay, so the computer we finally get it. It appears on a magic new monitor that pops up. What?
First, the computers start like overloading.
Oh yeah, it starts
and
overheating. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, maybe we should shut it down." But Graha's like, "No, we're close."
Yeah. And so for a split second, this is the thing when we looked at the trailer. It's like Magitech monitors make no sense. They
Very
are
chaotic.
What do you mean?
It's like tech in movies where they're like futuristic tech and nothing looks like it makes any sense. Like, why would they do it like this? Think about this. you have a machine that just pops up like 4 different screens. Fair enough, they're 4 screens. But then when
Yeah.
it finds something, it opens a new screen in a different format. It's like, okay, this one's letterbox. Like, it's very odd. And it's got a different color.
Is this how Allergan's decided to make tabs?
The tabs are just actual windows that you move around in space. That's okay. I mean, sure. And Graha looks at it, and then the computer fucking dies. Graha destroys Sid's supercomputer. But don't worry. He has photographic memory.
does,
And he
apparently.
remembers everything.
I mean, he
Guess that
remembers the
explains
spell. So
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I guess that explains why he can remember things from 100 years ago
True.
with crystal clarity, better
Yeah.
than the keel.
Yeah, true. So he remembers, everyone's happy. Well, except for, I'm assuming, Sid, because his computer got fucked. But
No, Sid's like, it was worth it if we can cure temporary.
yeah.
yeah.
So off to Limsa Lominsa. To perhaps one of the most jarring scenes coming up, but we'll get to it. There we meet Gabu and that voiced Maelstrom soldier from when was the last time we saw it? Like the end of Stormblood?
So, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
When Alizé and us go to see Gabu, and she's like, "Oh, all
Yeah.
my friends are unconscious.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
You're
yeah.
still here."
Yeah. We meet Gabu, who's still, not saying anything. We meet, as we're like there, we meet Y'shtola and Alphino, who have just come back from a. Wait, yeah, go on.
They went to Limsa Lominsa after the Alliance meeting so they could participate alongside Milweeb with the meeting with the Beast Tribes.
Yes.
But then they're like, yeah, the Bloody Executioners didn't turn up, so the meeting was
Well,
cancelled.
they didn't say. Did they say Bloody Executioners? I don't
Yes,
think
they
they.
do.
Oh, they did by name.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, they did
I
that early.
believe so.
Okay. Right. They decide to try the ritual on Gabu, but they decide to do that in a private room. They do that. There's
Can I
something
just say-
that happens that. Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
The Maelstrom soldier, when Alizé summons the Porksy, when she summons Angelo,
Yeah.
she's just like, the Maelstrom soldier is like so unimpressed.
Yeah.
Like, she was
He's
like,
like,
what the fuck is this shit? How's it gonna solve things?
Oh, great! A pig, a flying pig.
And you'll never hear her thoughts about this. 'Cause
No.
she doesn't say a thing again.
no.
So what happens in between? I feel like there's a scene in between while we wait for it. Does it just fade to black and then just fade in?
So we go somewhere else with Alphino and Y'shtola, who need to rest up a little since they gifted Graha some of their ether, so he could infuse the Porksy
Yeah.
with the transfusion ability.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Alphino also says, because like when we were in Azizla, Alizé's like, oh, I kind of look up to Alphino.
Oh,
and then
right.
Alphino's like, yeah, I kind of appreciate Alizé.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then
it was
you can
sweet.
either say, yeah, and then you can either say, she appreciates you too, or something. You tell her.
Yes. Right. Okay. Now, the ritual is complete. Alizé comes out staggering towards us.
No one's helping her.
No one's helping her.
No.
And
We don't give her anything.
no. Gabu follows and opens his mouth, and it turns out he's Oliver Twist.
Why does he sound like
I
that?
don't know.
Oh, it's great.
Please, sir, may I have some more? What the fuck?
It was very jarring. I was expecting. I was like, oh my god, I can finally hear them speak now, and then no, that was just a child. Yeah. they need. So it was a success.
Mhm.
They realized that for them to do this to all of the tempered, or the most important, like they want to temper the people that matter, I guess, first. But it is gonna. Untemper. Sorry. They want to untemper as many as possible, but they would need a lot of ether and more porksies specifically. So we have to go to Matoya.
Yes. In this moment, Y'shtola says something very specific. She says a bunch of words that actually spell out, if you take the first letter of all of them, they spell out the name of Matoya's former voice actor, who unfortunately passed away between
When did she
now
say this?
and she says something when she brings up Matoya. I don't have the screenshot of
Does she just say like nonsense, or is it a real sentence?
It's a real sentence, but it's a list of words that feel very out of place if you just take account of them.
Okay, so it's like Sheila.
Yeah, she gives.
adjectives. Okay,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's an
sweet.
adjective of Sheila.
I didn't notice that. Okay, that's sweet.
Okay, I think I have it. Yes, she calls Matoya stubborn, haughty, eccentric, irascible, laconic, annoying. Which,
there you
if you
go.
take the first letter of all those, it spells out Sheila. So
Yeah,
it was a nice little
that's
tribute
nice.
to the former voice actor.
Yeah. All right. We travel to. Must say, we travel to Matoya, and her new voice actress does an amazing job at like doing her voice. Because if you didn't know that her former voice actress was gone, you wouldn't have noticed. Like, she sounds bang on like Matoya.
Arguably a better job than some of our existing voice actors at portraying their own characters.
Yes. Yes. So we get to Matoya, and Alphino immediately just blurts out that Y'shtola called herself Matoya on the first. So they have a moment again. There's the usual Y'shtola Matoya banter, and then I think Matoya suggests making a mother porksy.
Yes, she does.
So this was when she said the following line, the following 3 words. I wonder if they read through that before they put it in the game, but
so
we have to go to her moldy old hole.
So I must be quite innocent, because when I read this on my first playthrough, I ain't question it.
I question it immediately.
I
I only realized when everyone else pointed it out to me.
So it's her old workshop, but yeah. Despite its name, or what she called it, it's actually a really, really nice dungeon. So let's review that dungeon, shall we? Let's talk about the design of it first. Very a different approach to how to progress through a dungeon. In typical 14 is like linear. You just follow the path. Maybe there's a couple of side paths you can pick, but generally it's linear.
It's kind of Labyrinth of the Ancients-esque.
Yes, I can see. Yeah. Where there's like a central room, and you just return to that to continue. Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. I like that you go to different sections to activate them before you get to the last part, and that you're being guided by
Pirogos.
Yeah. The last.
So the first
Yeah, go on. Yeah, I just want to jump to the last room immediately, but yes, let's go to the first. Let's
the
start
first
from the top.
section, we're collecting clay to build, to mold the porksy.
We
And
gotta fight the Mudman.
Yeah. Ooh.
The Mudman, I might be alone in this. The Mudman reminds me of that shadowy man from Hat in Time, visually.
I not played Hat.
I know, but I know, and me neither. But I know what entity you're talking about. So yeah, that.
Okay.
I can see that. Yeah, it kind of. Were they inspired by it? Maybe. I don't know. Is that
Maybe.
because that's not a reused model, is it?
It is a reused model. It uses the spooky specters that exist in like the north of the Locks.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it's also, chat brings up, it's also
He's the governor.
boss from the Siren Song.
Yes.
Siren
Yeah.
Song, sorry.
Yeah.
But mud.
But mud.
Yeah, but mud. This is one of my favorite things they tend to do is they've used a lot of models and then just made them muddy in this game.
Yeah.
It's not an uncommon thing they've done.
No, it is not. I think it's scary when they're like mudmen popping out of the holes. I think that's scary.
Oh, the drains?
Yeah,
I
they have
think
scary
it's cool.
faces.
Funny.
Cool
a fun little
mechanics.
Yeah, I like throwing the balls into the hole.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I'm bowling.
Yeah.
So what happens if you don't do that? Because I've never seen it fail so far.
You
It
can't.
just keeps hitting you.
It just
doesn't
keeps hitting you until you get it
faster
in
and
the hole.
faster.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
so it just keeps tethering towards you. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Cool boss. The second stage is water.
Yes, it's the well.
The well.
What do
Question
they use the
mark?
water for? To fill the
To moisturize the mud. I don't know.
I don't know. You need some water.
Just need
for
some
clay.
water. Yeah.
Because it's just mud we're getting basically. So you need to combine
Yeah.
that with
I guess so,
water.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this boss, well, first of all, very cute. I like that it is apparently a familiar that Y'shtola summoned when she was younger.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Worst troll if you do this with trusts.
Yes.
The
What happens if you
okay,
do
first
it?
time, so for those, okay, let's describe the mechanic maybe first before we tell what the fucking trusts do. So
Okay.
there's a point in the fight where you have to hit a water spout to be thrown up onto the top part
Yeah.
and fight the stuff up there. However, when this happens with the trust, whom it's in the name, you trust, they will do the mechanics and show you what to do. They don't. They immediately, when that mechanic begins, they go to each of their corners of each corner of the map and just stand there and wait for you to do the
Yes.
mechanic. And as soon as figure out what to do, they do it with you.
That's so funny.
That is horrible.
So,
yeah.
for I think many people, including I guess Lakil and I,
Yeah.
we wiped to this boss
Yeah.
because it does not explain what to do here.
It was it's horrible.
The only reason I was able to do it, I didn't do it with trust, but still, even with new people, you're like, what the fuck's going on? You just avoid these like you do in Don Meg, like little spouts there.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see the cast bar, and like, okay, maybe there's something bad about to happen.
Yeah, I saw the cast bar too, but I think the trust threw me off because I stopped to think because I think, okay, they're doing the
Yeah.
mechanic. I must do this too. So I was like trying to find a place to just stand, because they were just standing. It was horrible, but a cool boss. I liked it.
Yes, it's a fun fight overall. I quite like the mechanics related to the water spouts and stuff.
Yeah. Right. Last area. Lava.
Lava.
Rainbow lava.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looks like
No.
Sorkai Hard.
Yes.
No,
What is that? Isn't that Sorkai Hard?
I'll have.
Samal.
Samal.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Samal Hard.
Yeah. Really cool place.
It's apparently
RGB volcano.
It's supposed to be what?
molten crystal.
Yes.
Rainbow stuff in this patch.
Hmm.
Yes. There is. Yeah. We were we were theorizing that maybe they had managed to unlock some rainbow tech in this patch and they were overusing it. But yeah, it's very nice down there.
Did you like the forbidden soup at the end? Did you partake of the soup?
The forbidden soup?
Yeah.
You-
Because it starts stirring.
Oh, it starts stirring. Yeah.
You're like,
Super elegant.
Yeah.
worth.
And then, of course, the last boss, the Mother Porksy.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Or Oh yes, I do. There's one mechanic I really like, and it's the one where you get thrown up in the air, and you have to like look at like which way it's going while you're above the skies or the clouds or smoke, and then
Smoke, yeah.
going down because you won't see them on the ground. You only see them when you jump up. So I like that mechanic.
I love the
I also
insta-kill
like-
mechanic. That's so funny.
The insta-kill.
The suck
mechanic?
one?
The suck one is an insta-kill if you're in the black zone.
Oh really?
Yeah.
It deals max damage. I'm like, oh, that's so funny.
Oh.
So-
Wow.
I like the suck one because at a certain point you can't run faster than the rate at which you're being sucked in. So you have to make sure that you don't move too much because otherwise you'll get sucked too far back and
Right.
be insta-kill.
Okay, that's cool. That's rough, but cool.
Also, the names of this boss's attacks are very funny.
Oh yeah,
It's
they're
like meat
all
tenderizer.
yeah.
Pork
Tenderloin.
loin.
Yeah,
Oh.
tenderloin. Yes, so that's the dungeon. Also, the music, amazing. It
Nice
was
little
a
Yes.
remix of Matoya's theme, so
Yeah, I was happy to be right.
yeah.
I will say, I don't think it's as good as the one that plays in Matoya's Cave, but I think
No.
that's one of the best songs in the game.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's
Mm.
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
It's a good
I do like
remix.
the use of the theremin. I think it's the only the only song in this game that I can remember that has a theremin in it. People have been making comparisons to this dungeon song to Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes, that's my
Yeah.
first thing I said when I
Mhm.
went in there. Is like, this sounds like Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah.
My personal opinion was that it felt like a tribute to the Sorcerer's Apprentice from Fantasia because of the whole
Yeah.
like broom
Yeah, I can hear
parallels
that
with
too.
Matoya.
Yeah. Can hear that too. Yeah.
By the way, the MILF beam is real. The MILFification beam, it was real.
I'm gonna process that for a few seconds.
Yeah.
you explain?
Milfification beam.
They hit the Porksy with the MILF beam.
Mm. They hit the Porksy with the MILF beam.
Yeah, that's how they go.
Because she gave birth to Porksies
Yeah.
and she's hot.
You've
See, I
seen
don't-
that part.
You said, wait, no.
No.
You said you wanted to fuck a Porksy.
I did not say that.
No,
I
No,
just
you
said the
called
MILF
her-
beam.
You called it a MILF.
Yes.
by-
I said
in
the MILF
essence, by
beam.
So in
we do not have time for this.
no, we don't have time to discuss this, but know that there'll be a meeting after this.
Yeah,
Rolo.
there will be a meeting after this, Rolo. I can't believe this. All right. Anyways, she does give birth to Porksies. That
She blows them out of her
blows them
nose.
Yeah, that's how Porksies give birth, I guess. So we have solved that problem. Also, it's kind of gross when we've knocked her out. The Porksy,
funny.
she does this weird like twitching, and
Mhm.
if you talk to, I don't remember
Alize.
she's like, oh, she's like, is that twitching normal? It's kind of gross, but yes, we do that. We have our Porksies. We're in business. Time to visit Merlweb, I guess.
Mhm.
So when we enter her office, we meet a Sahagin. No, sorry, we don't meet them, but she is in a meeting with a Sahagin and Kobold leader. The Sahagin
Probably
priest
telling them, yeah, sorry.
has a
Sorry
gross
that the executioners didn't turn up.
The Sahagin has the gross hat. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like the
I
hat.
feel like it's like squishy. Like if you squeeze it, it's like an organic hat, and you squeeze it, it's like. I don't like that.
I think many things about Sahagin are organic, and I
Yeah,
don't like it.
I hate the Sahagin aesthetic. It's so awful. So she reveals to us that the piece with the beast tribes thing was her idea.
Mhm.
Probably.
And everyone's like, "What? Really?"
Yeah. How you
my
of all
God.
people?
I love imperialism. That's not a character. Come on.
Unfortunately, one of the three pirate factions did not show up for that meeting. The Bloody Executioners. This
And that caused the other two not to show up.
yes, and that in turn sent out a very unfortunate signal to the Beast Tribes that were probably hoping that maybe they'd be able to work something out. But Limsa is Limsa, I guess. The captain of the executioners is sick, which is probably why they didn't show up.
Hilfir.
Hilfir, yes. Because now, and I know I'm just projecting this hope onto the story, but I just hope that Sicard is supposed to be a Star Trek reference, because he's literally called Captain Sicard. It cannot not be. Please.
I think it is.
Yeah. Sicard,
I think it is as well.
Sicard is in charge, and he's no... Well, we'll learn about him in a bit, but from what we can tell, that's probably why the Bloody Executioners didn't show up, because he's not good. Alphino learns about crystal trade that's going on, which is undercutting the market from the Bloody Executioners.
We went to the two other pirate leaders, and they're like, "Oh, we don't know what's happening. They just have a lot of money."
Yes, yes. They're probably, so we think that they might be stealing from the Beast Tribes. That's how they are able to sell them so cheap. Graha, all right. So we're trying to. So Graha is trying to. So how does this go again?
So Alpha was originally going to. Alphino manages to organize a meeting with someone from the Bloody Executioners to possibly find out if they have been acquiring crystals from Beast Tribes. And then before he goes to meet with him, Graha's like, hold up. They don't know me. So I can go there and they won't suspect the Scions. But he's not a very good actor.
He is not. He
God, he is. How does he just lose his cool so easily?
He is.
He's sus, yeah.
Yeah, he's sus. He's a little bit of Jar Jar. He's the Jar Jar of the scene.
They call him Catboy.
They do. They do.
Is, like,
This is
we
the second
say
time
that.
I believe this is the second time the term has come up, but it's the first time on the source.
Yes. Yes.
It's just funny to hear it in game though.
Yeah, it is.
You fucking Catboy.
Yeah.
Is that like
yeah.
is that racist? Is that like
well, it wouldn't
Both
be weird.
actors that
'cause-
have said this term have been Lullafell.
Interesting. I see. Also, I mean, Limsa is racist though. They've always, especially against. Well, yeah, Mikote as well. They have a history.
little bit, yeah.
Right. The deal is kind of about to go through when Sicard emerges. He wants a meeting with the Admiral. So we're like, oh, you bad.
Well, first he says, like, we're not doing anything bad.
Yes, it's
And
not
then
illegal.
Alphino's like, I think Alphino or Graha, I can't remember which one, is like, well, if it's not illegal, why don't you turn up to the meeting?
Yes.
And he's like, fine,
Yes.
we'll do it
Yeah.
in my home turf.
Yes. He wants a meeting with the Admiral on the Astalicia, which I guess is the Bloody Executioner's base, or their main ship. They meet with Merlwyb. They essentially just go, "We are pirates for life. Pirate or die."
fair enough. You know, they've been doing that for a while.
Yeah. So Sicard and Merlwyb, they duel, which is how they do things in Limsa to settle disputes. Oh yeah. This is right before they start the duel, I think. Is that when she says it? When she says
It's either right before or right after.
yeah, she says Bosnia. That was so infuriating.
She has an accent. You know,
How can
like-
it be Bosnia? And now that she's the only character, I think, that has said it. So now that's canon. That's how we pronounce Bosnia.
I mean, I guess I could get it. I can see how that, but Bosnia just would make so much more sense as an English speaker.
Yeah.
I said this, I believe, on a stream during the week, but it's quite infuriating that we've been allowed to say Bosja for so long, and no one on the development team, in particular Koji, corrected us that it is apparently pronounced Bosja.
Yeah. Well, but again, we kind of have to take this with a grain of salt because again, they had no direction, like no personal direction.
Well,
here.
they didn't have in-person direction, but surely someone would be like, yeah, we need you to re-record that line. I don't think they would let it go through.
Why didn't they ask her to re-record her last name? Because she definitely flubbed that up as well in that scene. I am Merlwib Bluffusl.
I mean, that's what it spelled like anyway. That's what it feels like when you try to say it.
All right. We'll get to that. But they do the duel. She wins. And
surprise.
She shoots him in the leg.
Yeah, she shoots him in the leg. And then she's about to fucking shoot him in the head. And so Helfer, Captain
she has
Helfer,
to because he's about to try and shoot her.
Yeah. I just wish Captain Helfer was called like Captain Bryker or something. Just to complete it. But
Kirk.
Kirk! Oh my god, Burke.
What kind of fucking sea wolf name would that be?
Right, so he stops her from shooting him in the head, and he's more like, all right.
Well, he shoots the gun out of his hand. So
Yes.
like now Sakar's got 2 wounds. He's got like a bullet wound in his leg and his hand.
Yeah. So he calms Sicard down. Apparently there is a difference here in the Japanese and the English version with Hilfer sounding way sicker in the Japanese version, because in the English version it just sounds like he's normal, like he's your I'm old man. I will say though, Hilfer's English voice, Mela. It's just Mela. It's Mela doing an old man voice.
Okay.
Yes. So he says, okay, we can transition, but we need help to like. We need something to live off of after this. So change is coming to Limsa, and that's why this is so interesting, because I'd never thought we'd have. I think we've talked about like how it is so unlikely that we'll ever go back to the old city-states and resolve old conflicts. That's what we've done.
Here they did.
Yeah. This was a big problem with Limsa, is that I felt it especially when we did the meeting with Varys in the like Garlean tent, and we were like supposed to be like the moral authority, and then we have like Merlwib sitting among them, like her nation has committed genocide, and she's like been a really horrible nation.
Like actual imperialism.
Yeah.
Like actual colonizing.
Yes. So now,
like, yeah, that's fine.
So now we see the seeds of change in Limsa finally. Then it's time to deal with the Beast Tribe. We want to meet with the kobolds again, but they think that's going to be difficult now because the initial meeting didn't work out, and now the kobolds just don't trust Lominsans, which I don't blame them.
What reason do they have to trust them at all?
Yeah. She mentions that they entered a what's it called again?
A pact?
Yeah, like a pact with the kobolds
50 or so years ago, I think it was.
Yes. And that they had technically followed it, but they'd found other ways to exploit them through that pact. So they're not on good terms. So what they want to do is to offer them crystals as bait.
The crystals that was stolen from them.
Yes. They offer them the crystals that they had stolen back to them to force a meeting. That would they would expect Titan to be summoned during that, because they hate. I mean, that's the leader. That's their chance to kill her. So we go. We bring the crystals. We meet the second order patriarch, voiced by me, Zada.
So, I redid this yesterday. I don't hear it at all.
No, I've gone back to and heard. Okay, so for those that don't know, apparently, a lot of people think I did the voice for that
What?
character. Yes. It even made it to the subreddit. So it's very odd. It's not me.
I would not say that's no.
It's even in the comments
No.
section of last week's episode. So it's I promise, guys, it's not me. So yes, Patriarch Zada is very angry. So she does her whole speech about how bad they'd been, how they exploited the pack, like they've not been good. Zada does not listen, and also he's got like a lot of other kobolds with him, and they just attack. So we begin the process of curing or reversing the tempering of the patriarch. So we have to protect Alice in a duty with Merlweb. I know I'm bringing this up now because it's it annoys me a little bit, but she has 2 guns, right?
Yeah.
Because the game is the way it is, she can only be displayed like carrying 1 gun at a time.
Yes.
Which is really odd because they make a big number out of her 2 guns in this particular scene of Death Penalty and Annihilator. But in the cutscene, when she puts away the guns, one of the guns is perfectly placed on her hip, and the other one mysteriously disappears inside her. Just a thing. Weird that they couldn't make an exception to her, like so that she could carry 2 guns, because that's what she's known for. But weird.
But yeah, Chad is bringing up that this is my favorite voice line in the patch. I love it. I hope the community makes a meme out of it. You're in my sights. She sounds
so
like a Dalek.
She sounds like a Dalek. Yes, she does. It's also
repeated.
It's one of those repeated sound bites. Yes, Rollo?
That's where she does her skill or whatever, right?
Yes,
the big
the fan one. Yeah. And it's also louder than a lot of other things in the battle, so it's you can really hear it when she says it. It's sloppy all over again. Obviously, she does not have time to say it as many times as sloppy, but it's still funny.
No. I realized that you can make her only say it twice when I redid the fight last night, which was a shame because when I did it originally, she said it 3 times. I was very sad that she didn't say it more.
Right. So after the end of that duty, we have successfully reversed the patriarch's tempering. He regrets what he's done because he notices that, wow, we've killed people here for this.
Gabu's parents still there, by the way.
Yeah. No.
No.
Gabu's
parents, they're new dead couples.
No, they are not.
Oh, okay.
But
I was gonna say
they are. I mean, they probably are model-wise. It's probably the same scene.
It just seems like that's where they last were when they died.
I think it is.
I definitely get it.
Yeah.
And you're not the only person to think that.
No.
But there's no way it's the same 2 bodies.
It's been a while
funny
since
they
that
just
happened.
left it. Why would they care? They're tempered. Like, you know.
Yeah. Right. But he's still got. He does not trust Limsa. Oliver Twist enters the navel, and he pleads to the patriarch to trust them, and he even says like some men are bad, but these are not.
Bad, but not
This time.
all men. These are some of the best men that I know.
Yes, and Merlwyb throws him death penalty. Oh, this is the question we wanted to ask chat. He throws death penalty. She throws death penalty at the ground, giving it to the patriarch. She's like, "You can shoot me with this. I shot my father with this when he was tempered." Did we know that? Did we know? We know she shot. We know she shot her dad.
We know she shot her father.
Yeah, but did we know that he was tempered before?
Yes.
No. Okay. Yeah. See.
We weren't
Isn't it a
100%
warbook,
Yes.
maybe?
No, yes.
See,
Okay.
I have a faint memory that we did, because I was not that.
Yes.
But I wonder if
don't
I've
remember
just
the tempering.
resonated, like if that's something, a conclusion that I drew.
Because I've read the lore book and I personally don't remember it,
No.
but that doesn't mean it's not there.
No.
And it's possible that it could be just a 1.0 detail, which would explain why Lakil knows it and I don't.
Yeah.
But we're not 100% sure.
No. So send us a mug mail. We'll read it next week.
Leave us a comment.
Or leave us a comment, yeah. Right. Either way, interesting. He obviously does not shoot Merlwyb. He does they do the fake out thing where there's like you hear the gunshot, but he just shoots in the air.
I would have been really upset if Merlwyb died here.
Yeah. For a second, I thought maybe. Because this is all about change, and there's still another glaring problem with Merlwyb, and that is that she's way over her term length. She should not be in office still.
So she even says something that it continues like her dictatorship in a sense here, where she says, "If you kill me, then Hilfir is the new admiral." And I was like, that's not how admiral says it's.
I see. I see. Yeah. But they did not kill Merlwyb, so she. This is also when she says her last name in a very strange way. I wonder how many times she did that take just to get that. And if that was the best take, then I feel like we're giving her a lot of. I mean, I will say this: I do miss the older Merlwyb, the raspy voiced Merlwyb, but the new Merlwyb is funnier.
She is.
So I don't know. Right, so she says they'll sell all of the kobolds' goods around the world. They'll make it better. They'll make good on their original pact, I guess, but better. They're getting plus bonuses. And so
Make a nation, like we're all in this together in the great of Vilbrand.
Yes. So the patriarch agrees to that eventually, and that's that. We've fixed the primal problem, everyone.
Colonialism is over.
Yeah. And then a hard shift to a new problem. We get called over by a guard, a Maelstrom guard officer, I think, and he's like, "Oh God, there's some shit happening at the floating city." So we run there, and there it is. The tower from the trailer. But then they say the most absurd thing. They say it appears Garlean in design.
What? To whom?
When did I love how like no one agrees with that. Like everyone's like, what the fuck? What do you mean Garlean in design? That doesn't look Garlean at all. But hey, that's what I feel like. Why did they add that? Why did they say that? Because to me, that feels like the story writer already knew what it was, and they just expected. It's so weird. I don't know why they put that in there. It's just appeared. No one has had any time to approach it.
Yes, it looks marky.
Yeah.
But maybe this line exists because they're like, it's not marky. Don't connect them.
Yeah. But they could have saved it until like a little when we got to like Al Amigo, when they have had time to analyze. It was so too early for them to be like, that's Garlean.
Even if it was not Garlean design, how?
Right. That too. that too. Like, how did these Garlean towers just appear like that? How did the Garleans do that? Many interesting questions. And at this point, when you're playing the MSQ, you're like, wow, so many interesting questions I just got. Oh my god, this MSQ is, I'm 4.5 hours in. I don't think I'll be getting most of these questions answered, am I? So, we go to Alamigo to join the forces on the Eastern Front to seek out, again, our favorite character, Lys.
Commander Hext.
Commander Hext. We meet at the Royal Menagerie. No, sorry, wait. Do we meet? What happens?
We meet her at the Aetheryte Plaza,
right?
And she's like, "Yeah, there's a tower outside the city," and then Lunar Bahamut flies overhead.
Yes.
It just appear, huh?
Yes.
I have to say, Fandaniel, if you rewatch this scene, looks very dumb flying alongside Lunar Bahamut.
Oh.
Just
Yeah. Lys was not so bad in this patch. True, but I think it's because she didn't have many lines. They used her just enough.
She didn't have much to do.
No.
She doesn't do anything anymore, really.
Some would say she's never done anything.
No, you know what I'm gonna say? This was character assassinated.
Yeah.
The writers killed her.
Anyways, this Lunar Bahamut and Fandaniel appears. He mentions the how do you pronounce it? Telepharoi. He just throws that out there.
No one questions it.
No, and that's just that.
And then later, Alphino says, "Ah, yes, the Telepharoi," as if we just accept that this is a thing now.
He says that he wants to recreate the final days, and everyone needs to die, essentially.
He's like, why?
Yeah. Why would you want such a thing?
Why not?
Then the menagerie is destroyed by Lunar Bahamut. Sounds more dramatic than it is. It's just a fire that killed the flowers. The actual structure is supposedly intact.
There is actually a little bit of ground damage where it hits. When I rewatched this cutscene.
All right.
But I would say mostly not
destroyed. Sounds like an exaggeration.
No one even died.
No.
That purple
no
dank
one
flame
died.
Yeah. Very weird.
It seemed like it would hurt someone. Kill at least one random guard, just be like on the ground dead.
Yeah.
No, everyone.
Right. So we go back to. I'm assuming we just go back to the Rising Stones, don't we? And no, do we? Yeah, we do. That's where we end it in the Rising Stones.
Yeah.
I think they say like rest up.
There's a little bit. Yeah, there's a little bit here that's not really touched upon. We sort of discuss where all the towers have appeared, and they bring up one that was in southern Thanalan. Because Y'shtola went to go give the pork once she'd rested up after creating the mother Porksy. She went to Thanalan, to Uldar, to give the Porksies to the Sultana, and the Sultana explains, yes, we were about to hit a breakthrough with the Amaljar when they abandoned this attempt because apparently people have been kidnapping Amaljar, which is an interesting plot point that doesn't really get touched upon. So I want to say it will probably appear in the next patch.
Probably.
Because otherwise, why would they bring up the fact that Amaljar are being kidnapped?
Right.
And that's used as like a lead in to say, yes, there are towers in other places other than just Alamigo and Lanusha.
Yes. So we fade to black, and then we get, meanwhile, at the Eastern Front, we see Lys again at like a weird outpost. It looks like they're like in like an enclosed area with like just a tunnel connecting them.
It's like a weird valley or something.
Yeah. There's someone. I think they're waiting for someone to return, and they
They're waiting for the first like scouting party that
Right.
went to the tower.
yes,
Mhm.
and then someone returns. It turns out he's not well. He
No.
has been, I guess, tempered. It's the only word I can find for that, but it looks like he's tempered, and he says, "Glory to Garlemald." The Garleans have
Yeah.
tempered him.
Tempered to a country.
Yeah,
That sucks.
that is interesting. So good thing we found the cure for it.
Hmm.
Yeah, convenient.
How convenient.
It probably works for it. Right?
Yeah. So then he kills Lise. So that's real. Sorry, guys. Lise is dead. You heard it here last. Lise died. And then it fades to black. And then there's another meanwhile. This time in the Imperial Palace. All right. Yes. Fandaniel. Oh yeah. Fandaniel is in. Is he in that? He's in that scene.
Yeah.
Which one? When he's back with
The
Xenos?
last one with Xenos. Yeah. So he
Yeah,
was in
yeah.
there. Yeah. Oh yeah. He
Yep.
does.
He gives them
Yeah. I remember. He's being very.
he gives them a
animated.
little update as to what was happening.
Yes. He
You
I
refers.
saw your boyfriend or
Yeah.
girlfriend,
Yes.
your BFF.
Yes. He refers to the towers as piles. And
Yes.
he says that the lunar Bahamut is the first of many. So, piles.
He's doing all these funny little Karasu-esque poses too.
Yeah, he's very
Yes.
animated there. It's very funny. Then he slinkers off, and then Xenos breaks Weeb. He breaks his
Yeah.
Weeb sword.
Breaks his sword.
You think he's going back to a gunblade like he had before?
Did he have a gunblade before?
Yeah, he had a gunblade before you like at the very start of Stormblood, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like the
Okay,
like the
I-
Imperial gun, like the long gunblade. Is that what you're
I forgot what it looks like exactly, but it's not a fucking samurai sword. It's definitely like a type of gunblade.
Right.
Mhm.
I
Don't expect me to remember things about Xenos.
No, I don't care.
Wow.
Well, it's interesting because we talked about this off air, I think yesterday or the day before, but Fandaniel is way more interesting than Xenos is. And they are essentially the same, right? But Fandaniel has something to him. He's got that je ne sais quoi that Xenos does not have.
Yeah.
I don't know. He also brings up the hunt. Who cares? I need a new weapon for my fucking hunt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chat's right. Fandaniel has charisma.
Yes, he has a little bit of Kefka in him. Which,
Yes.
He's just kind of funny is all. He's just kind of fucked up, you know? Welcome to my twisted mind.
yeah, but I also like about
Fandaniel.
Fandaniel is that I don't really believe him when he says that everyone has to, like, he just wants to destroy the world and everyone has to die. I don't know if I fully buy that, and that makes him more intriguing. With Xenos,
Yes.
it's literally just, I need to hunt.
Well, listen. They got one more patch. They got one more patch.
Well, two. Remember, there's usually
right, yeah, for
0.5 and
0.5.
5.5. Yeah.
So they got two to make this situation with Xenos a bit more appealing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving them full faith on this one. They didn't really convince me at all with this patch,
No.
but they
might
a little bit more.
have a surprise for us in the next two patches because he's been
Yeah.
very passive in the last two. He's just been sitting on the throne like this. This has
Yeah.
been his entire arc for two patches. So we'll see. That's the MSQ. So now to the thing that I mentioned at the beginning of this. Good
Right.
that we're going back to Eorzea to resolve certain things. Did it feel like things got resolved very quickly and then the patch felt both long and short at the same time? And I think it's because they tried to introduce the second part of the story at the end with the towers. And so that part felt rushed and like we didn't, I don't know, something's off about the story, the way it was presented to me.
It felt very accelerated.
Yes.
Like, I wouldn't have thought that I know they've been sort of setting up that a cure to tempering would be. Oops. that a cure to tempering would be like a thing we could work on when we get back to the source. I didn't expect it to happen all in one patch.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like we had most of the parts already for it, though. Like, we've done the legwork for most of this, like the patch expansion now. So I can see that. I feel like for me, what made it kind of weird, like I think the first half is good. I think it's well paced enough with the dungeon, more web, and the tempering stuff.
Really?
Like,
I thought the first part is the part I consider the everything up to Matoya's relic, and I thought that part was very fast.
I don't know. I don't know. For me, it was fine, but then the part with Xenos and then Fandaniel, I'm like, it gets thrown at you real quickly. Like, you just see Lunar Bahamut, he just like,
yeah,
and he lands. He's like, "Hey, I'm fucked up.
Yeah,
bye."
Yeah,
and then there's this also like not build up, but they don't really build upon the towers too much. It feels like, aside from just seeing the guy get tempered.
Yeah,
and then you know how usually at the end of a patch, especially with some of the stuff. Some of the Garlean stuff, but okay, we're gonna have a longer cutscene showing some more stuff.
Oh yes,
Garlemald.
Yeah.
This was just like, "Hey Xenos, I'm back. I heard him a little bit. Woohoo!"
Yeah.
and then it just kind of ends. Like, oh, okay. So the Xenos part was disappointing, or that part, but everything else felt like
Xenos was disappointing, was he?
I agree.
The Garlean part, I should say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was odd. It almost felt like they ran out of time. It's like, okay, we need to wrap it up now, guys. So we'll save the rest for the next patch. So as if, I can see what you mean too, Georgi, with the first part where it's like, it's very compressed. It's like all the way leading up to Matoya. It's like, okay, we have everything we need. We need to go to Matoya. Maybe it's more preferable that we just get shit done quickly. There's no fetch quests this one.
Yeah.
So
one, arguably.
Yeah, that's true. There was one.
The sprite.
Yeah.
But I thought the whole Limsa. I've read that a lot of people found the Limsa thing like not that interesting. That was my favorite part of the patch.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
I thought it was the most well-paced part of the patch.
Yes. I liked that. And I've always said that I wanted an Eorzea theme. I mean, we got Eorzea stuff. You should like this, everyone. We're back home.
Though, boy, it is weird going from the first back to the source. It's not bad, but it's weird to go like, hey, we're having a good time, and Dawn and Limeg, and you know, the Crystarium, and it's like, all right, back to Limsa.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad. It's just it's like a bit of a shock.
It's kind of weird because it's like, yes, it's small, it's old, and it's weird, but it's home. Yeah. It's like we're home again.
Comfy.
Yeah, it's comfy. Yeah. And we can't just. What I was afraid of, my fear for 14 was that we were just going to keep expanding and expanding and expanding and never going back to resolve all of the glaring issues we have back home. So it's nice. We're going back.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get a little bit of Ul'dan conclusion in the next patch.
Yes.
Let's talk about Sildee.
Let's. I don't know how that's going to fit in anything, but let's talk about
Sildee at this point.
I don't know.
We'll figure something out.
They'll find something.
Sildee was resolved in that.
Let's throw in Belladaya. Sildee, Belladaya. Let's talk about all of it. Let's have a history lesson.
The current problems of Ul'dan.
Who cares?
Honestly, though, I am glad that we did get the Limsa thing resolved, because like Gil said, with the Varus bit and being like, Limsa's the bad guys too, you know?
Yeah.
So why can't I just be a bad guy?
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of a thing that always kind of hung over the head. Like, man, Limsa really did actually colonize this island.
Yep.
And we're just kind of palling around with their leaders all the time. And that's kind of like that's weird.
That is
no
weird.
one mentions it. And it's the same thing with kind of kind of the Lorito situation. I'm not saying I want that resolved. It's been too long. I don't care anymore.
Right.
You fucked it up.
What if they actually do deal with that in the next patch? They're like, okay, it's time to deal with that now.
Well, dude,
We'll take him to court.
What did you say, Georgi?
what would they do with Lolorito at this point?
They can't. They've written him into being like, actually, I wasn't that bad.
They wrote him out of it. So yeah, I don't think they'll deal
He's in
with
this
that
weird
anymore.
place of not being like. You can't charge him with anything, and he's like too innocuous to be a threat right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like they just written him into the corner and then whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be resolved anyways. Doesn't fucking matter anymore.
No.
Mm-hmm.
If the fan fest, oh yeah, that's it. That's interesting because we would have seen the trailer for the new expansion before this patch. So I
Oh.
wonder if this would have made more sense to us if we had watched the trailer.
Maybe see like the piles activate or something.
Yeah.
Maybe two
Yeah.
lunar Bahamut's.
Yeah. Maybe
I hope
that's
it's not
missing.
just multiple. I hope it's just not multiple lunar Bahamut's and that's other lunar things.
It's like 20
Ah.
lunar Bahamut.
A solar Bahamut.
Also important to note is that this is technically another 1.0 story that's coming to a close, like that's being resolved. So they're still keeping true to the like cleaning up all the 1.0 stuff that they left as well. So they could very well go to Uldar, resolve some of the issues there. They still have issues in Uldar. And I would say to a degree Gridania as well. So maybe the last two patches will have something with Uldar and Gridania as well before we move on to wherever we're going next.
How would you just overall feelings of MSQ? What would you guys say? Like good, bad, liked it?
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah, albeit a little oddly paced, but it's it's overall a good patch. It's the 0.4 patch. It's the patch that's supposed to like pivot us around. It's a hard job to like switch gears from Shadowbringers to like whatever's next. So
It's the least. It's the least revelatory since 5.1, so it feels like a smaller story, but it's fine.
yes,
I liked it.
yeah.
I
Well,
like it too.
Mhm.
I feel like I do think it's a good one. I don't like the end of it.
Mm.
I don't like the end of MSQ. Everything else was a lot more interesting.
yeah.
I feel like Prelude and Violet did a better job of pivoting from the last story to the next.
Yes.
I probably agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Prelude and Violet was much more like wholly dedicated to the pivot, whereas the pivot in this one was right at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's when I think you're having the meeting and Thancred like gets,
Yes.
shoomped to the 1st.
Yeah.
And that's like a big like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I think this patch was a little bit more hamstrung in the sense that like it had to conclude a 1.0 storyline at the same time as getting us prepared for 6.0.
It does make me wonder though, if this is the pivot patch, is Limsa going to play a big role in the next expansion? Because why would they need to resolve this storyline now? Technically, they have infinite
Because
amounts of
Garbu's
time
always
to do
been
it.
around.
Yeah, but why would they need to resolve the pirate plot of Limsa?
I think that was more of a vessel for the untempering stuff, I would say.
I'm just thinking.
And also just to clean up loose ends. that kind
yeah,
of thing.
it's possible. I'm just suspicious since this is the pivot patch, but we'll see.
I would
But it could
like
be-
it if Limster was
Yes.
important, but I don't want to get your hopes up, Lakira.
No, I don't want to get my own hopes up either. I'm just now starting to think about it, but no. Yeah, it is also 0.4 patch, which is technically when Gabu has shown up in the previous patches. So, right. If we had the trailer, the
Yeah.
probably would have made a lot more sense to us now. All right, we need to move on. I don't have a black and white I don't have a black and white video for this, but boy, we should have, because for Eden, we hit a few nails on the head, I must say.
Yes.
But we'll get to that. Let's just begin with the story. This is spoilers for Eden if you haven't done Eden. So back to Reen and Gaia. So they made ice necklace.
Yes.
And there's this scene where where she's like implying that she's got it around her wrist, but she's wearing this massive like coat, so it's just her arm going over this big like part of her like cuff, and it just makes like a sound, and I just cannot unhear the sound of someone in chat just said it's her arthritis.
I said it was her arthritis.
Who?
I said
Oh,
it.
you said it? Was it you? Oh my god, it was so horrible, and now I just can't like not think about that. That was what it was. Right.
It was the camera teases that it's there, but like she tries to proclaim it. Oh, I left it in Yulmore because it's precious to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gaia has learned how to drive the Sky Slipper. Stop the press. Gaia can drive the Sky Slipper. So we travel to the empty in the Sky Slipper, during which Reen talks to us, and we look. I mean, I know I look so stupid sitting in the back of that thing, but yeah, she talks about a festival that she's planning in the Crystarium, and I think this is one of many references to 8. I think this is probably a reference to Selphie, who's just constantly working on the Garden Festival. Which I think we can just mention this now before we talk about like the other stuff, is that Eden is a very different kind of crossover, and I kind of like it. They are only using like slight references. Like the bosses aren't 8 bosses. They are like 14 bosses.
Yeah.
They are only referenced in name and in action and stuff like that. It's very if you've never played 8, you probably wouldn't even know that it's an 8 crossover. It's not even a cross. It's just an 8 reference party. Yeah, only thing that's straight up 8 is Eden itself.
Yeah.
Well,
and the music.
E1 and E12S.
True.
But we can get to that later.
Yes, we'll get to that. Yeah. Right. So we make it to the. Oh, there's also like a moment on the Sky Slipper when she's talking about the festival, and I think she talks to Gaia, and Gaia is like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then that's just the first time we see her do that. We make it to the empty, and it's barren.
Oh no!
It's not as vibrant as it was at the end of Eden's verse.
No. So the crystal is piss aspected, and that's no good. Oh God, was that when we did the astral and umbral thing? Was that during that?
Yes, that was that.
Just
That
like
was
a
when we were
fever
talking
dream.
about that.
All right. Let's not get into that. So the fairy in Gaia's head is asking her to use darkness to balance the light tilting ether. So.
And Reem's like, darkness? How could we use darkness?
While I like Reen more than I did before, she is a little too dumb in this story. They tuned up her dumbness a little extra for this.
She doesn't have Thancred around anymore to teach her the way.
She can make some mistakes. She's like fucking 15, 14.
It's just that I didn't believe that she's that stupid. So it became a little odd. Right. So, for us to use darkness to balance light tilting ether, we need to summon something darkness aspected for our next fight.
And we originally we haven't fought any dark primals.
And we're like, well, they don't have to be primals. They just have to be of darkness. And don't play that drinking game where you take a shot every time they say darkness in this story, because whoa, that is used a lot. So we decide Cloud of Darkness is essentially made of darkness, and we get to fight that. How did you feel about?
Lore-wise,
Yeah, go on.
a little disappointing that it's not the real Cloud of Darkness. We thought we would be entering the void in this raid series.
That feels like too big of a thing almost to be in the raid. I feel like for Bring Back Cloud of Darkness, that'd be like something I want to do in the MSQ.
In retrospect, yes, I think that would have been too much. But yes, there we go. Cloud of Darkness, the Dissidia model, I believe.
Yes, or it looks very similar at least.
Yes.
We just imagined so much behind that face, huh?
This is the only one Georgi and I wiped on the first time we did it. It's the only fight.
Yes.
And I don't remember what we wiped to even. I don't even remember the fight, if I'm perfectly honest.
Just remember people dying a lot.
Yeah.
So it starts off in the area that looks like the World of Darkness.
Yeah.
And then she does some. I don't really remember any of the any particularly interesting mechanics that occur in this one. And then she phase shifts it to this floor that's like separated into tiles.
The thing is,
so we can't.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go first.
I was going to say, I don't think a lot of these, specifically these 4 raids, had that many interesting mechanics. I think it was really simple and light and not too engaging.
I think, yeah.
I probably.
Yeah, I can't really. Now that you say it, I can't really remember most fights.
Like, I would even say they're like easy, but they're definitely kind of one note.
Yeah,
and not very interesting. And I'm not even saying about the boss designs in particular, and like the actual just mechanics of the fight. I don't know. I got through with a friend that didn't play in a long time, and we just steamrolled him. We had trouble in the last one, but I don't know.
I liked the third fight. We'll get to that later, but yeah, I kind of agree with you overall in regards to the raid.
Yeah,
this tier of the raid.
Yeah. All right. So we defeat the Cloud of Darkness, and now there's another reference to the festival, but Gaia does not remember that they talked about it. Again, kind of just shrugged off as like didn't pay attention. I was busy piloting. Empty is still barren, but the crystals turned gay. So
it's very fabulous.
Yeah,
love
it's
the
a
RGB
fabulous crystal now. Again with that rainbow not mechanic. What do we call it? It's a feature. It's that rainbow feature in the engine. Now, Metron appears. Well, the crystal is gay, and it's kind of like, oh, we defeated the Cloud of Darkness, and now that's the result. Interesting. Now Metron appears.
I suspect the rainbow crystal is supposed to suggest that, balance is restored.
Yeah, balance is restored. Cool. Metron appears. He explains that he was forcefully transfigured into Eden when he battled Ardbert and his crew 100 years ago. This is the first black and white moment, more or less by mistake for me, because I say that Metron was the first Sin Eater. And he was, because he became Eden, the first Sin Eater.
Unintentionally created by Ardbert and companions' wish for a light to fight back the darkness.
Whispers to Gaia. So the fairy obviously is Metron. Talking to Gaia. His like whispering was served to weaken the light's power so that he could escape. Gaia can no longer remember Thancred and Urianger. So now we know that something's very wrong. And Metron decides to summon, because obviously Gaia he's not saying it yet, but it is very heavily implied that Gaia is kind of involved with this Metron guy.
Yeah. Hate his little goatee, by the way. It looks so bad.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I hate the Midlander goatee. I'm sorry.
Yes. So Metron summons the Shadow Keeper in order to reawaken Gaia to memories from 100 years ago. Gaia does not want to cooperate, and then Metron just kind of takes her. Now we get to fight the Shadow Keeper, which is a disgusting mutated dog creature.
Many mouths, many eyes.
Yeah, kind of looks wet. I don't like it. It has a shadow mechanic, which is, I guess, the most interesting part of this fight.
Yeah. I kind of like that one, because you get to at least think about it for a second or two while he's choosing sides to attack or whatever.
Yeah.
I liked the cup game.
The cup game. Yeah.
I'm tired of the cup game. Everyone has to have a cup game.
Yeah.
At least
every expansion.
Yeah.
At least you can win this cup game, unlike
Susanoo?
The one in the gold saucer.
Right. So we fight him. We win. Yeah.
I have to say, the arena, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a raid arena.
No.
It looks cool though. I like it.
We're just in like the ruins of.
It's just Laxenloft.
Yeah. We're in Laxenloft in Lakeland, but hey, we kill it. And Gaia says that the fight felt familiar. That's when Metron tells us that Gaia used to be Logrif, and that they were there 100 years ago. So we were right. She was an Ascian. The only thing we fucked up was that we thought she was Metron because we didn't even think about Logrif. There you go. Echo flashback ensues, where we see the last time Metron restored Logrif's memories. She's just a plain old Highlander.
What happened to her lips?
I don't know. Something happened when she was reincarnated.
Well, they're quite big still. I think
they are big.
I can't remember. Someone in chat said this at some point, that she grows into her lips.
No, that's wrong.
No.
She does though.
Oh my god.
Normal,
so when she's
or
like
at least more normal,
reincarnated, she's just lips.
Yeah.
Yes. So Logrif's true name is Gaia, and they clearly had like a thing going. Metron and Logrif were fused together. At the time of their demise, when Ardbert killed them. Logrif died and reincarnated, while Metron became Eden, which the more you look at Eden, the less sense it makes that he turned into that.
Yes.
Don't think of it. Don't even worry.
Eden has 4 breasts. Eden has 4 breasts.
What was Ardbert thinking about?
I don't. It's very odd. Yeah.
Where was Metron thinking? I don't know.
I don't
One
know.
of them.
We didn't write this down, but Reen questions why didn't Emmett Selk help him, and like Metron's like, why would he? And he can just find another me.
Yeah.
Which also kind of explains why Fandaniel would want to rebel against the Unsundered if they were seemingly that uncaring
Right.
towards the Sundered
Yeah.
Ascians.
Yeah. So, Gaia is still refusing to remember being Logriff, it's not still, she is refusing, and Metron will then he just fuses with her to share memories and force her to remember. They become Ascian Prime.
Wow, I haven't seen that one in a while.
No.
Yeah.
And
He says at this point he says that like without an unsundered Ascian, he doesn't have the normal ways of restoring her memory.
Right.
So this is the next best thing.
Yeah. So now Metron and Logriff uses Reen's memories against her to summon Thanjit. That's the Anamorphosis fight.
I wrote Thanjit because I don't remember the name of this boss.
Yeah, what is it called again? I don't remember. Fatebreaker.
Fatebreaker.
No.
Yeah.
His design is all over the place, by the way.
Yes. It's
I get what they were going for.
It's Thancred, Ranjit, and Mela also said that it's possible that it's also Vorthri, because that's the gold thing in the back. That's supposed to represent innocence.
I don't see the Vorthri. I think it's just supposed to be like generic Sin Eater regalia.
That's possible. That's also possible. But that's because I never thought Vorthri, but that's just what Mela added. And I thought kind of makes sense because that gold thing. I don't know.
So I think. Sorry, Roland.
I said I don't think he made this, but this does look like a Nomura design.
Yes, it does. Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah.
I like the design of the Fatebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some people say that it's attractive, and I can't accept that simply because of the fact that it's half Ranjit. It's the same way that I can't see Innocence as attractive, knowing that it's actually just Vorthri.
I
can see what you mean. Yeah.
He's got like dragon scarf thing. It looks. You don't even see a lot of his face. He's got like impressive fucking abs, though. That dude's ripped.
Yeah. Yes, and we
Best
actually
fight of the raid series.
Yeah, and it's also cool because we actually get to see that place that we saw in the trailer. That Thancred, that's the prison she was in.
Yeah.
So we never actually saw that in game. Now we got to see it. We kill Thanjit.
I like the infused mechanics of it, with like the lightning fire and light. We'll say, kind of just a repeat of the Warrior of Light from Seed of Sacrifice.
Right. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Mechanically.
Yeah.
I like that it brought back the Mist Dragon mechanic where you have to run around the edge and not get dashed over.
Yes. Yeah. Right. So that's another boss, a character in the game that people will draw very sexily in the coming weeks.
Also, best music of this raid tier.
Oh,
in my opinion.
Yes,
it's real good. Yeah.
True. Yeah. All right. So Ascian Prime is very upset that you could face your fears while the ancients fell to them. That's, I guess, understandable. So Gaia prevents Prime from attacking you, so Prime starts to erase Gaia's memories. And then starts using Eden to draw ether in order to create a timeless utopia. So Metron and Logriff can be together forever. Prime disappears.
Gaia said no.
Um,
Know when to take a no as an answer.
so Reen exerts control over Eden and gives chase, and so we enter the final fight. What a design! But it is a design from real. So okay. I mean, we have to mention grape breasts. Okay,
Many
breasts, many breasticles.
many.
That's all I can think of when I think of this boss. Is the grape breasts, but it's a lot. It's a lot. There's the grape breasts. There's the head with the tower on top. There's trees and shit going on. It's very strange. But it is interesting because
I like that it's a new design.
yes,
As fucking weird as it is, I like when this game gives us a new, like, primal designs, I guess.
yes. What is the name of this?
It's called Eden's Promise. It's a very boring name.
Sorry, the boss.
Eden's Promise. It is actually just called Eden's
Oh,
Promise.
okay.
Is the boss called Eden's Promise?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I know. I know that it's hard to believe, but it is called Eden's Promise.
Oh, that's horrible. They called it that? That's okay. Well, that's very okay. I thought because the name is okay. Because I thought who's named? Oh, because Metron's real name is.
We'll get to that.
Okay, yeah. All right. We this fight, while visually impressive, not very exciting for me.
No.
Rollo? Sorry.
I like what they were going for, and that, like, okay, well, I like the memory bits. That's nice. Like, that's reminds me a lot of Yotsu's thing, which one of my favorite moments in game.
Yeah.
I like that part.
Yeah.
Just taking one mechanic from every boss,
Mm-hmm.
and there aren't even the interesting ones, really. It's like, okay, here, we're going to take one from Leviathan. It's just the one where he only attacks the sides and the middle is safe. We're taking one from, what's his face? Thunderman.
Ramu?
Yeah, Ramu. And it's like, okay, just don't be in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And and they take the easiest mechanics too, which it's just not engaging. I couldn't.
So I agree with you to a certain extent. I don't like that there's absolutely no indicator of what you have to dodge the first time you experience these mechanics in this fight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You are just kind of
'Cause, like-
guessing what it is they're taking from it, but yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's the thing where, like, after the first time you know what it is. But the first time it feels very unfair.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can survive a few Vuln stacks though. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
A few, but not many.
Right.
In regards to the ad phase, after having done it again and been in a party that wiped, get very old very quickly.
Yeah, I can.
There's
Yeah.
no checkpoint, so if you wipe, you have to do it all
That's
over again.
horrible.
That's a solid, like, 3 minutes of content every fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
This fight
like
was
the-
robbed. This fight was robbed, by the way.
Why?
Yes,
The spoilers for Eden 12 Savage.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that not in the base? That should have been normal mode, right? Like, Crest Veilguard being in Shiva, one thing. Okay, I mean, it would have been cool. I mean, because it is Crest Veilguard and Shiva.
Mm-hmm.
It feels so fucking flat, this fight, without that last bit that they have from Savage. Like,
Yeah.
I get that they want to hide cool stuff behind Savage, like
Yeah.
some cool reveals. Oh, you get cool Kefka, you get cool Omega.
Mm-hmm.
But god damn, did narratively it did a huge disservice to it. Like it's kind of upsetting. I hope that they kind of stop doing that, honestly.
Yeah.
this is the whole reason that like they have normal modes.
Yeah.
So people don't miss out on the story of things like Coil.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people can do Savage. It's not impossible. It is obviously made to be beaten. A lot of people can do it.
Yeah.
But like I feel like your first run through for the story thing, you should kind of get the majority of it there, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. What if?
I don't know, it's
Yeah,
just-
it's not good.
I
It's
will
not-
say, when you consider Savage, so we're about to get into the fact that Metron's true name is Artemis,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and people have established that Ultimecia is like a corruption of how Japanese people would have said Artemis.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So why does Logarith become Ultimecia
His
and not
number-
Metron?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's very confusing.
Uh.
I feel this whole, at least this tier of the raid, felt very, I don't know, poorly conceived.
One thing that also got me is that with Ranjit or whatever, not any real comments from Reen. like,
No,
like, oh man, your greatest fears, like your weird father figures and sin eaters. That's something to maybe talk about.
Yeah.
And it's also weird because when I mean spoilers for something we're gonna talk about later is the fucking Emerald weapon, right? When like they use the Oversoul and transform, and Gaius is like, oh my god, they're doing that. That's the thing I did. Like we get some of his person or like interactions with that and see how he feels, but it's just weird that Reen doesn't do that. It feels so disconnected.
yeah.
Yeah. Weird. Sorry, I'm just looking at statues of Artemis. Sorry, it's just
I was
it
wondering.
literally is that. So there you go. Good old just got those grape tits. That's just how it is.
Apparently they're bull testicles.
I don't like that. I wish I didn't know that actually.
Okay. Well, that didn't make it any better. Did not make it any better. All right. Cool. Well, that's Eden, I guess. Well, no, we're not done. So,
Through our success.
trial success. So I don't know if we're supposed to. Well, we have to like just pretend that the savage part didn't happen in the story, right? Because
Yes.
it's not referenced.
It's not
so-
canon.
It's not canon.
Yeah.
It should have been.
It should have, yes.
Yes.
So, Metron is sad to be separated from Logarith. And Gaia's like, well, I can reawaken you next time, and then maybe we can be together again. That's also when we learn that his true name is Artemis, which is the original name for Ultimecia. But
The Japanese name.
yeah, the
at
Japanese.
least.
Sorry, Japanese name. The English version is just the phonetically like that's just it's just a mistranslation technically, I guess.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting though.
yeah. Gaia is then returned unconscious, and then we do. Well, we've already skipped the Kingdom Hearts part, by the way. There is a
We did.
There is a. This is the most Kingdom Heartsy storyline we've ever had.
It's just before the fight, the Eden's Promise Eternity fight.
Yes, where you have the option to just go like friendship, love, whatever. It's just like this really shameful thing to say. And I think the worst
Shameful?
part, it is after you
It is.
shame on you if you pick that, and they make you stew in that after you say it because there's no response after you do it. It just it's just like you said that.
like, "Ew, it's kind of cringe." Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we start
But
calling.
I picked that line, and so did Lakil.
I did. Just I had to
I did.
know.
I did
had to
too.
know. Yeah. We start calling out to her. Guy cannot unsee the chicken nugget meme when Gaia is seeing the necklace. This is really cool because, like I've said, excluding the Savage stuff, which obviously isn't canon, all of the references to 8 have been more or less in like just text, like what they've said and actions, like
we didn't
last
speak
fight-
about this, but
yeah.
yeah, Eden's Promise uses stock, cast, and junction.
Yes, which are classic 8 things. But
The
now
Savage remix, by the way, very good.
I don't
I'm
think
excited
I've
for
actually
that.
heard it. I've only seen that one screenshot, so I don't.
It's sick.
Okay, I must listen to it. This last part is like a 14 recreation of the ending of 8. So the ice necklace being the feather that Squall finds when he's in the time corrupted place, where he
Time compression.
and we see some of her memories, I think, don't we? When she clutches the crystal, I don't remember.
Yes.
And then we have Reen like trying to find her, and then she like clutches, like she hugs Gaia, which is exactly what Rinoa and Squall does. Isn't that how this happens? She does.
It's almost like shot for shot, right?
Yeah, it is. And I called it. Like, I'm like, she's going to hug her. And when she does, the sky's going to open and there's going to be flowers sprouting everywhere. That's what happened. That's how Eden, the empty, was restored through the power of love and friendship.
Don't
So-
ignore the fact that when Reen goes into Gaia's, like, wherever Gaia is, in her mind,
Oh, yeah.
in
right.
some other place,
Mhm.
I
Her
don't
mind
know where,
palace.
she uses the gunblade to slice through
Yeah.
the dimensions, I guess, to
Yeah.
get to her.
Yeah. It's bizarre because they didn't even set it up like that. They could have, because they even mention like time. There's like a ticking thing. There's like a theme of like time at the end. They could have played with time compression. They didn't. And instead, she's just in like an orchestral remake version. So that's really nice as well.
We joked on stream about hopefully they rename the empty to Balam Garden.
I would have been so good, but
Oh.
so far they have not done that.
But
Well, they did say if you asked the quest giver about it, like, oh, tell me about the Eden. He's like, well, now that we restored it, it's like we have to rename it now. We just don't know what to call it.
Yes, which is
So-
why I'm still
Ah.
hoping that there could still be a Balam Garden in the future. Because
Yes.
there's definitely going to be more story with Eden and Gaia, because they end at a very strange note. It's like, oh,
Yes.
all this happened. Okay, let's not skip over the most infuriating part of this. Is you get to Mordsuck and poor Yalfort, who's been working on trying to find out what Gaia's old identity was. He's finally found it, and he's like, "We have your name," and she's like, "No, fuck that, fuck that." How dare you? He's been looking for this shit for you, and you don't even want to know? We want to know.
Listen, it's representation. She's moved on. This is her life now. This is her story.
So annoying.
This is my story.
So happy ending, technically, but there is no festival. I was almost expecting it to have like the festival at the end,
Yeah,
but there is none of that. So
it's for them. They're on a date. Leave them alone.
it is
No weirdos.
it is possible
Well,
that
they were very mean to Yalfort. I didn't
Yeah,
like that
I didn't
part.
like that.
Like, not only is Gaia like, fuck all the work you've put into finding out who I am, she's also like, you don't get to come with me and Reen when we go back to the empty. It's just us.
yeah. That's why I think that maybe there's going to be more quests at the end of
Yes.
this. But there is, because they talk about the festival multiple times. Weird that we don't get to see it. So maybe that's where we're going in the last few quests.
You did you guys ask? Oh, well, I forgot what part of it, but you can ask her like, okay, so you're an Ascian with Ascian powers,
right? Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, I'm not. I don't got it down just yet.
No,
but ask me later.
Yes, and Ascians
Yeah.
can travel between worlds, and they can bring people with them. So I think it's kind of implied that they might be joining us.
Yeah.
On the source.
I mean, it'd feel like a waste of Gaia's voice actor if they don't.
Yeah.
I think she only ever gets to voice act in the opening and closing cutscenes of fights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really odd. That was like, yeah, those are the rules. We have a voice actress, but we can't use her in actual stories, so we'll use her in battles instead.
Look forward to her in the next expansion when Gaia and Reen come save us.
Yes.
From some danger.
Yeah, because now they have that. They have an Ascian that can come in at random.
Yeah.
If we need to get bailed out from somewhere, so maybe they'll use that. All right. Good Lord, we are. Yeah,
So,
it's
it's an XL episode.
it is definitely.
So tell me, what are your feelings on this overall?
Now it's over.
What's the vibe?
For now, I guess we can confidently say that at least the Eden storyline is done. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, I guess we haven't addressed what we addressed earlier, like a couple of episodes ago, is that people losing their shit over the patch artwork. This is why you don't overhype the patch artwork. It's because what happened here.
Well, the game was just as baity as.
I know. That's why you shouldn't do it.
I mean, it strongly implies it to the. I don't even know.
But
if
they
I could call
didn't,
it bait.
Rollo.
They don't.
It's
confirm
bait.
it.
I don't know if I call it. I would call.
It's bait.
It's bait.
If they wanted to, they could have gone the whole way, but they don't.
Yeah. So that's why if there are more quests involving the festival, there might still be a chance that there's more there. But for now, they went for the we're just friends thing.
Yeah. Like you can believe that they are a couple.
Yes.
But the game never confirms it.
No.
Sadly.
Well, that is the
so
definition
close.
of baiting. So that's
They took the love scene thing from the other game. Like, God, so close.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think it's.
I think this tier is weaker than the last tier. I think Eden's Verse is the strongest tier of this raid series.
Oh yeah, you're talking about just about this. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this one was kind of middle of the road in terms of like boss quality, because I don't, like I said, I can barely remember the fights. So
I think the Shiva fight is much better than the Eden's Promise fight. I also think Return to Oblivion is the best song of the raid series.
It's up there, I would say.
yeah, no, I haven't heard the Savage remix for.
No, I haven't heard
but-
the Savage remix of Extreme yet, so I can't speak to that. But
Yeah, of
From
the
what
ones
I
I've
know.
heard, I guess I would kind of agree with you, because the others, well, the one with Thanjit is pretty good as well, but
yes, I agree.
yeah,
They
Oh,
it's
we
weird
need-
to say this, but
yeah, go on.
I like the story a lot in this.
Mm.
Overall, if I were to average all the fights together, I almost want to say Omega was better. And
Don't necessarily disagree with you. Like I understand like the lore of Omega is less interesting overall. But I think the fights were better designed for the most part.
Mm.
And a lot of them felt a bit more like the actual bosses themselves felt more impactful to the story. Because like seeing Midgard Solmer, like in like that, like they comment about that and like, oh shit, that's him at his one is the strongest moments or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you also just fight Omega like normal, and you fight their things. And Chaos is there for some reason.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Omega took a while to get there compared to this one. Like this was good from the start.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think overall it's a more solid storyline than Omega.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no massive spikes like Omega has in the last
No.
part of it.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right. Sorrows of Warlet coming up. We need to shoot. Okay, we need to make a decision now if we are to continue or if we should stop now and continue this next week.
We can
but then
I think
we will have to do an XL episode next week as well because we have a Mogmail special next week as well.
Yes. I think we should hold Sorrows of Warlet over to next week. I have a lot of thoughts on Sorrows of Warlet.
I
don't
do too.
We have enough time to talk about.
We also have Void Quests and we have Nier.
And if we do Nier next week, then you have time to do it, Rollo.
Yes.
So
don't read the show notes, Rollo. Don't read the Nier stuff. We can talk about maps real quick. Very easy to do. Very rewarding.
More fun than the regular dungeons.
Still sad
forever and always.
Still sad that you can still get the other dungeon because it's such a
hate the doors.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I can't remember if I've definitely said this on stream. I can't remember if I said it in the podcast. The roulette is less annoying because it's out of your hands. You don't feel like you're making poor choices.
Right. Yeah. So if you haven't done roulettes, do them. You can earn a lot of money. I earn just in money, in Gil. Last time we played, we were maybe an hour, 2 hour, an hour and 2 hours, maybe 400K, just in gold from Gil from doing not selling anything, just getting it in the instance. So it's very good.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So do it now.
Check out the new C poses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I had to mention it somewhere.
Yeah.
You get hands on the hip and then hands on both hips.
That's that.
I believe they're just retainer poses that we couldn't use before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's that. Last is crafting and gathering. I've only really done. I can talk more about this probably next week, but collectibles, very easy now.
Good.
Very very easy.
I mean, do you still use the same rotation? I haven't done any of it.
No,
you don't.
It's brand new actions that you use instead, and collectability is always capped at 1,000 now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy to figure out what to do. It's so much. I thought it was going to be more complicated. Not the case. Very easy.
Mm-hmm.
Getting white scripts like that. Not a problem.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume none of us have done ocean fishing.
No. We were going. I was hoping we would be able to do that on the previous stream, but I just forgot that it was a thing. What are we doing tomorrow?
We are doing Palace of the Dead.
We're doing Palace of the Dead tomorrow, Rollo. I hope you're ready for some fun.
Remember, Rollo, we need to get to floor 100 before the 12-hour stream.
Maybe we can sneak in ocean fishing. Well, that would be after Georgi is left, because we need to use all the time we have Georgi to get through Palace of the Dead.
Okay.
So we'll see if we can do it tomorrow. If not, maybe we can cram it in on Monday, but then we're supposed to do Extreme, so we'll see.
Excited to do Extreme, though. I did like the fight, so.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
I wonder if we should do questions from the Syndicate now. Should we?
Is there any?
There's 3.
Just separate it into a post show.
Okay. We'll transition into post show for a few questions. All right, that's the end of the episode. Thank you for watching this episode of Speakers of Hydaelyn. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. If you're watching live, a post show will follow, a very short one. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfHydaelyn, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, exclamation Discord in chat if you want to join our Discord server. If you're watching on demand, link should be in the description. Send us Mogmail, speakersxiv.com/Mogmail. There's a Mogmail special next week after we've done the last part of the spoiler cast. That's oh yeah, merch as well. Remember that the merch that we have out will disappear on the 31st. That's the 6th year anniversary, and the Mela era crew shirt is also going out. So make sure you get that before it's too late. All right, that's it. See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.